Hey, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to Call the Cops. My name is Officer Jamie Keneally. As always, a big show in store. And oh, my God, last week, how crazy was last week for the city of Boston, for fans of hockey, for police officers who had to work the parade. Hello. And you want to talk about great job. Police officers assigned to the parade, assigned in and around the Garden, Game 7. Cannot say enough about the job that they did to help keep the peace. You know what? Here's the other good news. By and large, except for a couple knuckleheads, the crowds after Game 7, I should say the crowds and the fans after Game 7 behaved exceptionally well. The day of the parade, again, some more great behavior on display. And, you know, thank you to the fans for doing the right thing. But, again, I got to give props and love to the police officers up and down the parade route. You know what? Things go well and smoothly, not by accident, because you get some hard-working men and women in blue uniforms making sure people do the right thing. But again, back to the Stanley Cup. How great was that? Tim Thomas, had to love him. Brad Marchand, had to love him. Just can't believe it. But a great series and great fan behavior as well. All right, the second annual Field of Dreams Wiffle Ball Tournament, you can see it there on your screen, kicked off a couple weeks back. And major credit to Superintendent Paul Fitzgerald and his crew. They did this last year, as you know. In fact, we had Super Fitz on a couple weeks back. Last year, this wiffle ball tournament raised a little over $32,000 for juvenile diabetes research. This year, they hope to raise at least that much, maybe a little bit more. And guess what? The news is great because they raised, I'm told, close to about 40 grand. And one of the other highlights, Dennis Fitzpatrick, Jimmy Fitzpatrick's dad, they call him Mr. Simon of Simon Says. You had to love this guy. He was in the house. Kids were loving him. And some adults were loving him too, but he runs a mean game of Simon Says. All right, congratulations and welcome to recruit class 4910, newest class of police officers. They graduated from the Boston Police Academy last week. Ceremony, you can see it on BPD News, was held at the Strand Theater. And yeah, you know what? We like to see that. We love to see new faces in blue uniforms. So congratulations again to the 64 newest members of the police department. Looking forward to seeing you, and be safe out there. All right, Robert Kraft. We know who Robert Kraft is. That's right. He owns the New England Patriots. Recently, Mr. Kraft spoke to. Were you there?
I was, yeah.
This was good stuff.
It was.
Spoke to the newest class of sergeants and lieutenants. He talked about leadership. He said a lot of good stuff. I think one thing I remember is that he said, if you're a leader, can't be afraid to make a mistake.
Yeah, we all do.
We all do. And if you make a mistake,
learn from it.
You learn from it and you own it. But I was there. That's right. I did see you there. Maybe, actually, I think we might have some video of you there, Scotty. But I don't, you know, somewhere in there. But hey, gotta thank Robert Kraft for taking time out of his busy schedule to come by and talk to the new sergeants and lieutenants. We cut up to him afterwards, and you know, we had asked him the obvious or simple question, and we put it to him and said, well, why was it important for you to come by and talk to our men and women? Here's what he had to say.
Because I was invited to do it, and I'm honored by that. I think that I don't think the police department is appreciated. It's an undervalued asset, the way people serve our community and actually do a lot to help create the culture of why Boston is such an attractive place. We're lucky to have a police department like we have here, and I hope we continue to build it with good, high-quality people of integrity.
That's a smart man right there, making a lot of sense. All right, these are pictures, and Scott can attest to this, and Terrence Burke, who's on the phone and will be joining us in a second or two, can attest to this. But these two guys, talk about super inspirational. Two super inspirational guys recently received the Theodore Teddy Roosevelt Award. It's an award given to police officers, or in this case, police sergeants as well, who have overcome serious injury or serious adversity in their return to police work. That guy looks kind of familiar. You're going to see him in a second. But tonight's guest, Sergeant Scott O'Brien, Scott in studio, police officer Terrence Burke. There he is. You're not going to see him in studio, but Terry, you're on the phone, which is a good thing. But both of these guys are certainly deserving of the Theodore Roosevelt Award. They've both overcome serious adversity. And trust me when I say this, the Boston Police Department is a better department because of these two guys. Last month, again, this is the scene at Faneuil Hall, May the 17th, I believe was the date. You guys received 2 awards. And tonight, Scott and Terry are here to tell their stories. So without any further ado, let me welcome our guest in studio. Buddy, you get major points because you showed up. Do we have a guest on the phone, sir?
That's correct, sir, yeah.
Terry, thank you for joining us on the phone, buddy. We have you both here. So we get Terry on the phone, you in studio. I'm going to start with you, Scott.
That's fine.
You know, this award is obviously given to people who've overcome some serious adversity and injury. You were shot in the line of duty.
Yes.
What is your story?
Basically, on January 16th of 2004, I was a member of the entry team or SWAT team. We responded to Quincy to serve an arrest warrant for a gentleman that was wanted for a shooting. We cleared the first 2 floors and we located a crawl space in the attic. I was going up to clear the attic when several shots rang out, and I was shot twice in my arm and once in my jaw. The one that hit my jaw ended up going through into my neck and cracking my voice box.
This was in 06?
January 16th of 2004.
There's a date you'll never forget.
No.
I mean, so in the days after, did you ever think to yourself, my career as a police officer is over, or did you always know that you were going to come back?
No, I knew I was coming back. Everyone that knows me knew I was coming back. It was really never an issue for me. At times there was some, it wasn't always 100%, but I was 99% sure I was coming back.
You knew
yes.
You were coming back.
Yeah.
Terry, you there, buddy?
Oh, yeah.
All right, Terrence Burke is joining us on the phone against Scott O'Brien in studio. 2 guys, both recipients of the Roosevelt Award. Terry, you received it obviously because, again, you overcame serious injury and adversity. If you could tell the folks at home, what was your story and what was the injury that you sustained? I know serving in Iraq and Fallujah, but maybe just tell the folks at home what happened.
Sure. Well, let me first say thank you for having me on the show, and thank you again. September 2006, at around like 6 or so in the evening, we were traveling along the main highway through Fallujah in Iraq when my IED was struck from underneath the vehicle by an improvised explosive device, or commonly known as a roadside bomb or an IED. From there, I was injured. I was able to free myself from the vehicle. Ask me how, I'm not sure, but I was able to. And from there, I was by 2 gentlemen, Navy corpsmen, Navy hospitalmen. I was pulled to safety while one returned fire, the other one treated me, and I was eventually returned to Fallujah Surgical, where I was treated and then transferred eventually to San Antonio, Texas.
Now, Terry, I asked you the same question I asked Scotty. I mean, did you ever think your days or your career as a police officer were over? Did you ever think, okay, that's it for me, or did you always know that you were coming back?
You know, to tell you, I knew in my heart of hearts I was coming back, Jamie. I'd be lying. Of course, with my, poise, precision, and audacity, you think you can do anything. And in this case, I drove myself and I pushed myself. And I think with the support around me from the department and my family, they saw that, they recognized that, and they said, hey, let's give him a chance here. Let's see what he can do. And I'm back to where I started in the Boston Police.
Did you always know, Terry, that you were coming back? Did you ever think it wasn't going to happen, or did you yourself always know, hey, that's a job I love, that's a job I want, I'm going back to it?
I think, I said in my heart of hearts I wasn't sure, but I said, when I was able to get up and walk again, and then eventually run within the short period, I said, you know what, I'm gonna get back, no matter what, I'm getting back there.
All right, let me ask you, and I'll ask Scotty, but what made you want to come back to this job? What was the driving kind of force? What was it that made you say to yourself, I want to be back in a blue uniform?
Jamie, just in the brotherhood, the camaraderie. It's no different than the people that I serve with in the Marines over in Fallujah or across the world. It's just the brotherhood, the family, the support of each other, just the knowing that it's something bigger and better than yourself, and it's about making sure everybody gets home safely and gets back to their family at the end of the day.
Great answer. So it's about being a part of something bigger than yourself. And Scotty, I guess the same question. What was it for you that made you say, you know what, I love this profession, I love this career, I want to get back to it?
Well, it's something I always wanted to do, but again, like Terry said, the people I work with are the best. I made a lot of good friends in this job, both on the department, and you meet a lot of good people while you're working. It's a different job every day, and there was no doubt I was coming back. So, but mainly because like what Terry said, the brotherhood, just my friends. You know, I still have my old friends before I became a police officer, but now, you know, hundreds of new friends that I've met by being on this job, and I enjoy going to work with them every day. One
of the few O'Briens in East Boston.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
But I'm hearing you guys both say the same thing. There was really no doubt. But was there ever a moment of, can I do it if I do go back?
Yeah, I was having issues with my right arm, with the bone not healing, but I knew in time it would get better. I didn't know if I'd be able to come back and do work the street again like I do now. I always knew I'd come back and do something. So I always knew I was coming back, but there were doubts about what I was going to be able to do.
How far you could come back. Well, Terry, same thing to you. Did you ever think, yeah, I want to come back, but maybe, I don't know, maybe it's not going to happen?
There was definitely times of doubt, but I said with the support from the department, the support of my fellow brothers, you know, and sisters, and just the drive and determination that you receive, you know, from the instructors in the academy, to push yourself forward, and to not give up. You know, just like whether it be a gunfight in the street or a gunfight, you know, in a battle, you have to push yourself and. You know, push. If you think you have limits, push yourself and then push yourself further.
Well, let me ask you too, and you've already kind of touched on it, but the department itself and how supportive they were. When you guys, and Terry, I'll ask you first, but when you said, hey, I plan on coming back, you haven't seen the last of me, were they like, Terry, thank you, but no thank you? And of course, I'm kidding, but how supportive were they?
You know, Jamie, they were 100% supportive from Commissioner Davis to you know, the BPA president, Tommy Nee. Everyone down to the patrolman level. Everyone was 100% supportive. When I came home that first time, and coming off of A Street in South Boston, turning left onto West Broadway, it was a surreal moment seeing the showing of support between you know, the Boston police officers, EMS, fire. It was surreal.
And kind of the dumb obvious question, but how important was it for you to feel that support as you made that decision to come back?
It was extremely. I mean, just knowing that I had that support and not getting the cold shoulder, so to speak, or that sideways look from individuals. It let me know, you know, that the same people that I care about also cared about me as much.
Great stuff. And Scotty, I mean, when you decided, you made the decision, told them, hey, I'm coming back. Was the department as supportive as you hoped they would be?
Oh, they were great. I was Commissioner O'Toole at the time, and she. They kind of rushed back. So when I first came back, they wanted me to. She requested I drive her around for a little bit.
Lucky.
And it lasted about half a day. I just didn't like being inside.
Yeah.
So they helped me out. We kind of met in the middle where they assigned me to the intelligence unit for like 6 months, and then they let me finally back on the street. But they were kind of looking out for me. They didn't want me to rush right back into it. So at the time I didn't understand. I wanted to get right back out there. But it ended up working out. Whereas trying to slow progression back to work. So it worked out for me. You know, from like Terry said, from the top to the bottom, everything was great. You know, the whole time I was out, I was getting phone calls almost every day. While I was in the hospital, it was nonstop, people coming through.